Hey, what's up guys, it's Renaldo here. So this video is going to focus on Cyril Ramaphosa finally launching his court case against the Section 89 committee that found in 2022 that he had a case to answer for because there were prima facie evidence that they found. And now, 4 years later in 2026, now he wants to take that on review. Now, I'm not going to over-explain it, but the reason that it has taken this long is because in 2022, Parliament then voted on whether or not the prima facie evidence and the report should lead to a impeachment committee where they would decide whether the president should be impeached or not. And when they voted on it in Parliament, because there was still a majority of ANC MPs and the ANC had the majority in Parliament, they just didn't want, the rule of law to play out. Instead, they took matters into their own hands and they breached the Constitution and said, we don't want to hear it, throw it out. And then in 2026, the Constitutional Court came and said, well, you shouldn't have done that. What you should have done is allowed the impeachment committee to be established and sit and to listen to all the evidence and then make a decision. And that is where we are right now, where the Constitutional Court said, let's listen to what the impeachment committee has to say. And now, 4 years later, Cyril Ramaphosa has decided to take this committee's report on review. You can still ask, though, why did he not want to clear his name 4 years ago? Why is he only wanting to clear his name now when he is facing an impeachment committee? Well, only one person can answer that, and that is Cyril Ramaphosa. Now, what's also interesting with regards to this court case that he has launched is that he is doing exactly what he told South Africans during his family meeting that he wasn't going to do, which is to delay the process. Because there are some interesting things that he is now also asking the court to do so that this will then inevitably cause delays. And clearly he has taken a page out of Jacob Zuma's Stalingrad approach. Now, Business Tech came out with a very good article that I'll just briefly touch on. But before we do that, please be sure to subscribe to this channel. It's absolutely free. It won't cost you anything. You can also smash a like button and share this video far and wide. That's also free and it'll be greatly appreciated. All right, let's have a look at what Business Tech had to say. All right, Ramaphosa takes his fight to court. And it says, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa filed a lawsuit that aims to stop Parliament from instituting impeachment proceedings against him. The president is arguing that the process stemmed from the findings of an advisory panel which erred when it found he may have committed serious violations in his handling of a robbery at his wildlife ranch. Strange how he didn't do this in 2022. Even if they threw it out, don't you think that you would want to clear your name if you're innocent? But now, because the Constitutional Court brought this back, now he wants to suddenly clear his name. Yeah, typical. In papers filed at the Western Cape High Court on Tuesday, the 26th of May, Ramaphosa asked the court to review and set aside the panel's 2022 report. He said its conclusions were based on hearsay evidence and didn't follow proper procedures. All related parliamentary processes should also be put on hold until the conclusion of the review, the president said. And this is what is really important. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. The devil is in the details. The president is not only asking the court to set aside the report, but he's also asking the court to halt all processes in Parliament with regards to the impeachment committee. Exactly what he said he wouldn't do is what he is doing right now. Delay. He is implementing Jacob Zuma's Stalingrad approach because he knows that if he can prevent Parliament from having this impeachment committee and all of the skeletons coming out of the closet, this won't cause damage to him or the ANC in the 2026 elections, but also potentially the 2029 elections. And the reason I say that is because if he is successful and the court says, all right, Parliament can't go on up until we now have made a decision, then that means that even if the court says, you have a case to answer for and we will not be setting aside this report, then he can appeal it to a higher court and then appeal that to a higher court if they don't agree, and ultimately appeal to the constitutional court. And this can take years. So if he manages to get that right and halt parliamentary processes from continuing, where they start interviewing people, and he can even call him to come and testify, even though this case is happening, this means then that he can avoid any controversies for the ANC or himself in the 2026 elections, and also potentially the 2029 elections. So once again, Cyril Ramaphosa, that said that he wants to deal with this as speedily as possible, is now doing exactly what Jacob Zuma did, which is just delay the entire process. I don't understand why you would want to halt the impeachment process, because ultimately, don't you want the truth to come out? If you truly cared about the facts, then you wouldn't want to stop the impeachment committee from going ahead, because isn't this the golden opportunity for you to clear your name? You can recommend who should go and testify. You should go and testify and tell South Africa what exactly went down with regards to all of this. But instead, what you are doing is you are implementing delaying tactics because you don't want the public to know what exactly happened in Phala, which is exactly the same thing that happened in 2022, when you told the members of parliament in the ANC to vote this report out so that it couldn't be taken to the impeachment committee. So it seems that you are hiding a lot of things here by wanting to halt the impeachment committee from sitting too. And I just find it so troublesome that once again the courts are going to be used to try and delay what should inevitably happen, which is for the truth to come out. Ultimately, the president is just trying Stalingrad tactics here, because we all know that there are a lot of questions. How did you get hundreds of thousands of dollars in your couch? Why were they there? Does SARS know about this? And then when the theft happened, why wasn't it immediately reported to the SAPS? Why did you send your own private security to go after these people and to go into another country to find the culprit? These are all things that you don't want in the public domain, because in my humble opinion, you are as guilty as sin. And I think most South Africans think that way too. And now you are trying to not only delay the inevitable, but you are also trying to delay that all of these facts be aired out in the public domain. And I think the biggest thing that illustrates, to me at least, that you have got a lot of things to hide and that, in my opinion, you are guilty, is because you are trying to delay Parliament from establishing this committee and from starting interviews with people that will probably lead to your downfall. And that is, of course, just another stain on the name that is Ramaphosa. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to smash that like button, share this video far and wide. Don't forget to subscribe. It's absolutely free. However, if you'd like to support me financially, you can do so by giving a super thanks. And that is by finding the $ below and choosing an amount. Or you can become a member of this channel by clicking the join button below. And that'll be greatly appreciated. And that's all I got to say. Till later. Cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre.